sound stupid.
Hey guys, and welcome back to the channel. So in today's video I'm gonna review and unbox the Darth Maul 2.0 by Hot Toys. Okay, so as usual, let's take a look at the box. As I said, this is the 2.0. They've made the X16 and 17, I believe. Obviously the X17 came with the speeder bike here, which is pretty much a reissue on this one. But this figure right here comes with a lot of different changes. Obviously the head sculpt are brand new, some of the clothing, so we're gonna take a look. But before that, let's take a look at the box. On the most part, I find Star Wars box to be very plain. I mean, you only have the picture of the character, but I think this cardboard right here on the sides, this one brings it to life, you know, pops a little bit more color into it. So you have a nice image right there of our friend here, Darth Maul, which is one of my favorite Siths from the Star Wars universe. Again, I was growing up in the 2000s, so you know I prefer the original trilogy, especially Episode 3, but I still enjoyed the older movies, especially Episode 5, Empire Strikes Back. I think that's a fan favorite. So yeah, pretty standard box. I mean, it's a little bit larger than usual, obviously, to accommodate the speeder bike. So yeah, let's take a look and see what's inside. And the first thing that you're gonna see is this awesome poster right here that you can pretty much frame or put behind the figure. I think this looks very awesome in the display case, so yeah, very cool. Attention to detail here by Hot Toys. Then you pretty much have multiple trays. Obviously the first one here is gonna hold the figure, as you can see, with the different hands, the lightsabers. Then there's another tray right here for the cloak, pretty average. And then the final tray is the speeder bike, which again is very massive. Okay, and here's the final tray. Pretty much have the speeder bike, which is quite massive, the base and some of the attachments. So yeah, let's take a look at all the accessories. Okay, so usually what I do is I take all of the accessories out, but this guy comes with quite a lot, so I'm just gonna show you here as they are in the box. So this is pretty much a device that he calls the speeder bike with. You know, metallic chrome piece right there, very nice. A bunch of hands, obviously, force hands, some gestures to all the accessories, open hands, closed fists. There's the extra head sculpt that we're gonna take a look at. You have his lightsaber right here. You can obviously attach this. I'm gonna show you guys later on. There's this one right here, which has a wire. I'm probably not gonna use this because, as is, I don't think the light effect is that powerful. You know, I think it's worth getting a custom, you know, lightsaber with these guys, because the light, you know, doesn't do it for me, at least the ones that I had before. And then right over here, some of the accessories in the second tray. So you have the waist clamp, you know, the bendable pole right there. These are some of the attachment that you put on this belt to activate the lights. I think this is an USB-C. Yeah, right there. You have the droid right there, the antenna for the droid, the binoculars, which are very detailed. They have like a nice, you know, sand effect on the metal right there. They look very convincing. Obviously he was using this on Tatooine. And obviously you have the speeder bike that comes with a small attachment that goes on the base. Okay, and when it comes to the base, you obviously have a few options. Obviously this thing is pretty massive. I know some of the collectors were complaining because of the size. As you can see, it takes a lot of space in itself. As you can see, it's pretty, you know, pretty chromed effect. This is the scene obviously when he was fighting with Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan inside the I think it was a ship, but it had a very you know, metallic surface. And since I have the deluxe edition, you also have this like sand effect. It's alright. I don't know if I'm gonna use it, but obviously if you put a speeder here, you put this right there, then you put a speeder on top. There's obviously a small clip right here to hold the speeder in place, which is pretty cool. So yeah, very nice base, but it takes a lot of space. Very nice lightsaber obviously here. That's one of the things that I like about the Darth Maul. He's one of the only ones, I think, in the series that had a dual light, you know, lightsaber. Obviously here, very nice metallic effect. You have a pin right there that you can attach to his belt, and obviously this one, like in the movie, you know, you can detach it. And on this end right here, you have a small plug-in right here. You find the hole, there you go, and you have that, you know, battle damage look. So you can rock both ways if you want single or dual, which is very nice again. And there's the droid right there, very nice paint application. I believe the 2.0 is more detailed than the original. I used to have the original like a couple years ago, in 2021 I think. Yeah, very nice. You have the subtle dry brushing out right there. You know, it looks very metallic. Nice purple right there, coloring for the eye. You have some wires throughout. The only thing I don't like about this guy, and that was the same issue with the first release, is he pretty much sits on this pole right there, a transparent pole, plugs into a small base, but it's a little bit wobbly, as you can see. So make sure not to, you know, put too much pressure on the top. You know, it might snap and fall and damage. So yeah, very nice, you know, accessory with this one. And then obviously the biggest accessory in the set is the speeder bike right there, which again, very big piece. It's not that heavy, but very cool textures, especially right there on the seat. Looks like a cushion. The metallic effect, you know, you have the sand right there on the bottom as he was flying this thing around in Tatooine. The beginning of the movie, you have it's pretty much where the legs go. The handlebar right there, which is pretty fragile, so I recommend, you know, take your time with this. There's also, I think, an articulation right there on the handle. This thing goes up and down a little bit. And also this guy is gonna have some lights. I'm gonna show you that in a bit. Right there, there's a plug-in. I think, where's the plug-in? Let's see here. I think it's on the bottom. Yeah, it's right there. It's a little bit stupid. Would have been cool if they would have, you know, relocated that maybe on the back. There's gonna be some lights, obviously, and right there on the cockpit. But yeah, pretty cool piece. Again, pretty light. It's not cheap, but it feels light. So, but the details are very cool. So I think that's the most important part. A very nice piece. Cannot wait to you know, put the figure on top and see how cool he is. So yeah, awesome. Okay folks, so that's why it's important to read the inscriptions, the instructions I mean, because, you know, I was looking for like 5 minutes on where to find the switch, and there's basically a panel right there for the light up feature. You basically remove this piece right there. There's an on and off switch, and it's interesting because it looks like at one point this would have batteries, but now it's only USB-C, which is cool because battery sucks, obviously. So when you plug, again, this is stupid how you know, they made the connection on the bottom. It should have been on the side, but whatever. And as you can see, now it's on. Let me turn it off to show you guys. So you pretty much have that right there that lights up, the control panel or whatever that is. And then you also have the lights on the back. It's not bad, you know, it's a cool feature. I'm not a big fan of gimmicks in my action figures, but it's a nice little feature right there. It brings a little bit of life, and again, you can move the handles up and down. Not sure why, maybe it's for the acceleration or whatever. But yeah, pretty cool accessories. It's not a must necessarily. Again, it just happened that I found this edition. Again, I got mine on Marketplace. I wasn't able to sleep one day last week, which is not good, obviously. And again, I went to Marketplace at around 2 o'clock in the morning, and I found you know, a guy near me about an hour away from me, and he was selling these awesome figures at a killer price. So again, I couldn't say no. I mean, worst case scenario, I could resell them and make a little bit of money on the side, but you know, it's not a big deal because I love this figure a lot. So yeah, cool accessory here. And again, it's not that practical having the wire underneath. Other than that, it's a nice light up feature. So it's crazy how detailed the both of the heads are. Obviously this was the open mouth version, but that gloss on the teeth right there looks very nasty and realistic. Again, the eyes movable right there. You have the two joysticks as usual. You have a foam piece right there to protect the neck. We have very nice paint applications. Again, I can very easily see the improvements over the first version, and this one is a lot more accurate, especially the likeness to the actor Ray Park. Very cool. Yeah, very creepy looking, very realistic. Some of the best anti-scale heads that I've seen this year, but this one is my favorite right there. The closed mouth, I think it's more sinister, especially that pose right there. Look at that. And these horns are a pain in the ass. They're very pointy. I have a few issues of when I tried to put obviously the hood on. He said this thing catches obviously inside the cloth, and it's kind of preventing it from pulling it forward. But yeah, what an awesome figure. Damn, awesome character. Hopefully they will bring his you know, he has a brother. Hopefully they could bring him into a live action movie, maybe in a season 2 of Obi-Wan. If that happens one day, that'll be cool, because obviously they had a big battle between Darth Maul and Obi-Wan in the comics, or maybe in the Clone Wars series. I have to check, but yeah, obviously Obi-Wan takes his revenge again and kills him for good this time, because if you don't know, he survived when he was cut in half in Phantom Menace. He fell down, but then he obviously put some, since he was cut in half, he had some robotic legs, but yeah, he wasn't dead. So we obviously saw him in Solo. That movie wasn't good, but you know, he made an appearance, and he had like these robotic legs. Obviously Hot Toys did a version of that, and there's like a Clone Wars version, and there's also like a first appearance version, or I should say a you know, how he looked in the concept art. He has like a yellow suit, different horns, they're a lot longer, so yeah, very cool. Awesome heads right there. Okay, and here's a close look at the body. I think the only parts of the original figure are the boots. Again, I could be wrong about those, but they look very accurate. I like the straps. You obviously have some padding right there. I'm not sure what that is. Again, Hot Toys are not skipping details. A very sturdy body. You know, it feels very high quality. I've heard that the belt is actually a leather piece. It looks thicker than before, so that's very awesome. So that's awesome. Very cool. Here is where this lightsaber goes. Very cool. Very hefty figure. So yeah, it looks definitely thicker than the older one, which was pleather. This one hopefully is gonna stand this, you know, in time, is not gonna rip. And throughout the body, on the clothing, you have wires, which is very awesome. I think similar to the original one. This is gonna be very fun when I'm gonna pose this guy. As you can see, very strong. Well, roughly strong. It's very thin wire, but you know, it gets the job done. That's awesome. And then here's the neck attachment. It's different this time because the original DX was I think it was a magnet, but I prefer when the head is firmly attached than a magnet. And also this one stands a little bit taller than the original. It's more proportionate, which is very cool, but again, very strong joints. The suit is definitely brand new, so that's a very cool touch. Awesome. Wow, I'm already blown away. I mean, this took me about, you know, a minute to do, but it's already looking badass. Look at that telescope right there. As he's using the force right there. Man, this guy's gonna be very fun to pose. I already have a good feeling about this guy, and who knows, maybe he's a top contender of best figure of 2025. I'm gonna do a video on that very shortly, so make sure you stay tuned, guys. It's gonna be very fun, you know, taking a look back at some of the best figures I've reviewed this year and talk about them. It's gonna be a very interesting video. Yeah, this guy so far doesn't disappoint. I like the proportions, the poseability is very awesome, very easy to pose. As you can see, you can move the wires in some directions, you know, to create more volume, which is great. Okay, and here's a cool detail that I forgot. The first one had the same thing. So when you're removing the hands, you also have this leathery piece that's inside the gauntlet, which is pretty cool. It pretty much hides like the joint. So very cool touch right there. So yeah, make sure you look inside there, so yours is not going to fall on the ground like I just did. Yeah, awesome detail is it. Okay, so I just put his hood on, or a cape, whatever you want to call it. This guy is very proportionate, as you can see. Every fold is very nice, and I'm sure if I'm gonna spend another 5 minutes with this, it's gonna look even better. But awesome, look how everything sits nice on this guy. I think even this one is redesigned. This is more fine than before. It was a lot thicker. Yeah, I'm very impressed, you know, on how he looks, and I cannot wait to put that hood on his head. I think that's probably the most menacing, you know, effect. Wow, this guy looks badass. Only issue I have is I had the same obviously problem with the original. His horns are very sharp, and they're pretty much, you know, grabbing to the hood as you try to pull that down. So it's not easy to do. I'm sure if I'm, you know, if I can, you know, wiggle with this guy for another 5 minutes, I can get the hood to sit properly. The cool thing is you have wires all throughout the edges of the hood, so that's very helpful. But this guy looks very menacing. Again, amazing proportions. I just adjust my lights here, guys, so you can see. Very creepy. Look at that right awesome figure so far, guys. What a beauty. Speaking of the robe, you can obviously attach that. There's the hook right there, and there's another piece there that you can attach it. It's not easy. It takes a little bit of a wiggle, but it's definitely doable. And again, you have a nice wire throughout. You can make this as crazy as you want. Again, pretty sturdy wire right there. And imagine if Hot Toys would do like a quarter scale Darth Maul, how badass that would look. And I think the proportions would be even better, and the tailoring is gonna be better because obviously you have a bigger canvas to work in. But yeah, as is, this thing is fantastic. Obviously the best Darth Maul that they've made so far. Obviously, yeah, look at those details. And again, the idea here with the hood, you want to make sure there's like a point to the top of the head. It's not the easiest thing to do because those horns right there inside are a pain in the ass. And it takes a little bit of time to adjust. Yeah, very good. There's the other head sculpt with the hood on. I mean the hood removed, but you have the cloak. And again, I'm not sure why I like this character so much, because obviously in the Phantom Menace he didn't have a lot of dialogue. But obviously he was in the Clone Wars, he was in the Solo movie. So it would be cool if Disney brings him back, maybe doing a season 2 of Obi-Wan, and you know, have him face Obi-Wan again, because I think he gets killed by Obi-Wan either in the comics or in the Clone Wars. I have to watch those. It's been a while, so I don't remember. Yeah, this guy looks awesome, very evil, as you can see right there. I have to rearrange his eye because he looks a little bit goofy. What a masterpiece! Definitely worth picking up. Man, this guy is very fun to pose, as you can see. With a quick pose here, I found out that the ties right there are padded, so that's very cool. Another issue I have, the boots are pretty much one, you know, big piece, so he doesn't have an articulation at the ankle. I mean, he does on the inside, but it's very, you know, difficult to work around that boot. But yeah, he looks very badass. Look at that right there. Very easy to pose, very, very fun. You know, everything pretty much moves how it's supposed to. Looking great right there. And obviously this amazing base. I don't mind being that big because I think you know, you can do crazy poses like this, and you know, the figure's not gonna fall versus a smaller stand. Also, this you can put the speeder on, which I'm gonna show you guys in a few minutes here. But this is what brings the figure to life here. You know, you attach that piece on the back, and then you can pretty much, you know, put the figure in the air, you know, do some crazy poses, and he looks alive. He looks awesome. Still looks a little bit cockeyed right there because I just, you know, misplaced the eyes, but you get the picture. It's very awesome. And again, the fact that it's pretty much the whole suit is wired, you can do so many dynamic poses, and you know, have the suit however you want, you know, different wind directions or whatever. You know, this thing is gonna do it. But yeah, very awesome. Another small issue I have, I don't know, it's just me, when putting the head on the peg, sometimes what happens, the peg is gonna catch on the movable eyes, and you know, as you're putting the head on, after, you know, choosing your position of the eyeballs, putting the head on will actually move those eyes, so that's a little bit a pain in the ass. As you can see, they are very close right there to the peg, so you know, as you put them on, make sure, you know, you watch. You can technically leave the head like that, but it's not securely attached if you do not want to, you know, to mess the eyes. But as you can see right there, I just put it, took 1 second, and the eyes are already messed up. So it's not the ideal, you know, thing. I think having this magnetized would have been better as on the old one. Now when I think about it, but it's not a big deal. You know, it's not a deal breaker, so yeah. And obviously this is not movie accurate, but if you want, you can do the dual lightsaber independently if you want. I think this looks badass. He looks like he's gonna kill me in a second here. He walks slowly and he's gonna chop my head. But yeah, this is a very nice pose. Again, very menacing. It's still a pain, you know, to put the hood on the face and you know, making it look as accurate as in the movie, because again, those horns, it's very difficult. But yeah, awesome, awesome figure. Excellent pose, design. Again, my biggest issue so far is putting the head on the head. inside the the peg, I mean. And every time I do that, pretty much the position of the eye changes, because the joysticks inside pretty much they catch on the peg. As you can see, they're very close, so that's pretty much one of my biggest gripes. Also, I like to remove these from inside the hands. I think putting the hands on without these is a little bit easier. Plus, you don't really see the joint. This one I removed it, and this one it stays in. But yeah, it's a little bit easier. Obviously, he has the communicator right there that he communicates with his speeder, he calls it. But yeah, inside the gauntlet, pretty much when you get the figure, this thing is inside right there. So I recommend, if you have if it's difficult for you to put the hands on, I recommend removing that leather piece or that fake leather right there. It's gonna be easier. So that's just a little thing that I discovered. I remember doing this with the my old version. So yeah, very epic piece right here. Okay guys, so in conclusions, yes, this one is definitely a must. It's a lot better than the 1.0. If you have the 1.0, it's worth obviously getting this one and maybe selling that one, since obviously you have brand new head sculpts, brand new tailoring, pretty much everything is brand new minus the body, I think. This one, it was reused, so that's not a big deal. So what I don't like about this overall figure, starting here with this little guy, I think this should have been a metal piece, because as you can see, it's very wobbly. This can fall very easily, if you knock it down. So I think having a metal pole would have been more stable versus this plastic piece right there. Plus, I would also make this a little bit wider, maybe give it like a sand base or something to match the scene in Tatooine. Other than that, putting the head sculpts on is a little bit tricky, because there's like a plastic piece inside. Once you put that and then you arrange the position of the eyes, putting the head on, sometimes it catches that plastic piece inside the connector of the head, and then the eyes will move, which can be a little bit pain in the ass. Also, the other thing is putting the hands on. Again, I recommend removing those leather inserts inside. It's a lot easier to put the hands in. I mean, other than that, this thing is a masterpiece. It could be a contender for best figure of 2025 here in my collection. Yeah, this thing is badass. I recommend this one if you're obviously Star Wars fan, if you're a fan of the prequels, obviously. Again, my favorite one is let's see here, Revenge of the Sith, obviously. But this one is one of my favorite Siths, bad guys from the Star Wars universe. I think he's cool, and he has potential, obviously, to appear in more movies. Obviously, it would be cool, season 2 of Kenobi, because in the comics, I think in the Clone Wars, Obi-Wan is facing Darth Maul again, and obviously he has the metal legs and everything. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Again, make sure to subscribe to the channel, give me a like, let me know in the comments below what you think about the figure, and as usual, guys, stay safe. See you soon on the next video. Take care, guys. Have a great day. Bye bye.